This is Mohammed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Just over 24 hours to go till Kid Galahad defends his IBF crown in his hometown of Sheffield. Missed weight initially, just by an ounce. Nothing major there, Dom?
No, not really. I mean, more of a discrepancy with our scales and the official scales, and our scales are always calibrated bang on. Personally, I think the stage, it was a bit bouncy, it was flickering, but look, it's an ounce. It was more of an inconvenience to have to walk back to the hotel, and around the block a few times, and then walk back and jump on the scales. That was the inconvenience of it. That's all that it was for Galahad. But he got down to his pants, took his hat off, and he was an ounce over. So it's done now.
An intense face-off with Kiko Martinez as well there.
Yeah, you can tell a lot from face-offs, and Galahad always likes to look into their eyes and see where they're at. And Kiko comes to win. He's not intimidated. He's been there so many times, and he's always giving a good account of himself. And sometimes he's upsetting the apple cart. So it's his big chance again. He's 35 years old, and he's got a big night in Sheffield.
What do you think about people's criticism of this fight, Dom?
Do you know what? I don't read too much about it, to be honest, because like I say, if you start reading into what people are saying, it starts interfering with what your game plan is. At the end of the day, look, he boxed Zelfa Barrett maybe a year ago or whatever, and caused him all problems. And Zelfa's a kid coming through. So the one thing about Kiko, he doesn't come to lose. He comes to give his best. And that's one thing about him. He's a tough opponent. And at the end of the day, look, Eddie promised Galahad a fight in November. And they went through the list, the top 15 of the IBF, and nobody wanted the fight. So nothing changes, and we got Kiko in, and that's what the fight is.
Eddie and Kid have talked about Navarrete next. Is that in your mind as well?
Yeah, I think you've got to. I don't think he's going to hang around too much at this weight, Galahad. I think that COVID really offset everybody's plans, because it was a case of getting back on the title a lot quicker. Having one or two events, then moving up, because it just makes sense as you get older not to be killing yourself to make the weight. You've always got to, go up weight classes really. And he started off at super bantam, hung out that for a few years, and then moved to the featherweight. So, get this one, get the unification with Navarrete as early as we can next year, and then, thinking about moving up.
So we look forward to Mr. Kid Galahad's defence of his world title tomorrow night, and all the best with it. Just before we close off, I do want to ask you about Kell Brook. Did an interview with me a couple of days ago, where he stated that he signed his part of the deal for the AMIR fight. What's going on, Dom?
Listen, at the end of the day, I'm just the trainer. I mean, obviously, when Eddie promoted him, we knew what was going on, but who knows? It's never been easy, has it? But I think I don't know if he signed it or what they're doing, or what the deal is. All I rely on is Kell Brook walking in the gym to train. As long as he's training, I'm ready for the day. He's ready for the day. All the background stuff, the money, the contracts, that's a minefield, isn't it? It's not for me to work. I don't manage Kell Brook, I train him. So I'm not really privy to that kind of information. But I think sometimes Kell gets a little bit carried away with himself and probably jumps ahead, jumps the gun a little bit. And realistically, unless you've both signed it, really, back in the olden days, they used to sit you down at a table with both fighters, and the promoter standing in the middle, and you both signed the contracts. That's what used to happen in the days of Mickey Duff and Mike Barrett, and everybody knew where everybody stood. Now it's like it's always hearsay. I've done mine, he's done this. It's like, who knows? Let's just hope the fight gets on before it's too late.
Just from an outsider looking at AMIR Khan, you've always had your doubts whether he's wanted that fight, he'd sign that fight. Do you think he'll ever sign that fight, Dom?
I think he's smart. Really, he's been smart because he's took all the better available options. The harder fights, Canelo got banged out. Crawford got banged out. Well, he's took the, if he got beat by a lower level fighter, then he'd never be able to move back up again. So he's kind of, like I've always said, started at the top and worked his way slowly to the bottom. And now they both had defeats, Kell and AMIR Khan. I just think Kell's got a bit more about him. He's a bit more robust. His fight against Crawford wasn't fantastic. He got caught with a shot, and realistically getting down to that weight 10-7. It's not really the getting down to the weight what's the problem, it's the rehydration, getting back up. You never kind of recover what you're supposed to recover when you get a little bit older. I mean, he's 35 now, Kell. So, it doesn't really make sense to be getting down to those lower weights. He should have probably just stuck at 11 stone and not really gone down to fight Crawford. But that's their choice, and, people make decisions, what they think is best for them. But, we'll see, won't we? I think if the fight comes off, I'm backing Kell to win.
I did say we're going to close off on Kell, but how could I forget? Major news yesterday. Liam Williams finally gets his fight with Chris Eubank Jr. Must be buzzing for that, Dom.
Yeah, it's a good fight. Look, everybody's, everybody wants to see Eubank in a fight. They know Liam's a bit of a hothead, he can fight. And, he's campaigned most of his career at super middleweight, Chris. And what is he now, 32, 33? Liam's a bit younger. He didn't look great against Marcus in his that fight. And the other guy he boxed was nothing anyway. But, getting that extra 8 pounds off when you're being so used to boxing and being effective at super middleweight, it's not the best thing to be doing, going down weights when you're getting older. You know what I mean, realistically. So it could be a telling factor. Liam makes middleweight comfortably. He's strong at the weight. So it's a mouth-watering fight. It's in Cardiff, probably because Liam sells much, much better than Chris Eubank Jr. So it's going to be a big night, a big crowd. I just hope the venue can accommodate everybody who wants to go, because it's like, Liam has got a big fan base in Wales. So it's an interesting fight. It's a good one before Christmas. And it'd be a nice one to sign off with a win. Definitely is an early Christmas present for the boxing fans, and a big occasion on Sky Sports. We look forward to that, but obviously, first things first, all the best with Kid Galahad tomorrow, and we'll speak post-fight, all right? Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Dom. Thanks.